What it do, family? Getting this right. I got you, baby. Okay. We trying to get this right. Where we at with it? I think I turned down the volume. What it do, family? Getting this right. I got you, baby. We trying to get this right. Where we at with it? I think I turned down the volume. What it do? Yeah, it's the vibes. Yeah. Yeah, I had the track playing twice. I hit a double up. Dig. Yeah. Selah, Shalom in the building. Y'all know what it is. It's a vibes. Selah, Shalom according to the text as it is written. Let's vibe. Elijah, I see you. Kizzy, I see you. Yes, I. We vibing out, you dig? Selah, Shalom in the building. Coming to you live and direct from planet Earth and beyond. Word is bond. Family. Peace, and blessings, family. How we looking? Make sure the camera right. Bong. Aim it down a little bit. Alright. You looking alright? What it do, family? I'm just touching in for a hot minute, man. I ain't got no particular topic to touch on right now. I ain't get a chance to put together a little, you know what I mean, documentary joint. It's kind of busy today. But I still said, let me jump on, talk to the family for a little while. You know what I mean? If y'all got any questions, y'all can holler at the boy. I'm just here enjoying the vibes, rolling my spliff. You know how I do. You know what I mean? We're going to address these things. These spiritual conditions. These physical conditions. You dig? So it's like the service done in the others is, you know what I mean, the ways of resurrection. So sometimes we get to thinking like, let's look at America history for a minute. You know, we look at slavery, right? A lot of people like to overlook slavery and ignore the shit. But I ain't that type of person. I deal with it hook, line, and sinker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the conditions that the slaves went through the hands of the slave masters is deep, because in the OAHSPE, what I read the other day about spirit retaliation, how the spirits of the dead can retaliate on the living once they cross over, I said, wow, so really and truly, the slaves got to be taking out much vengeance on slave master. We don't talk about that. We want to talk about the civil rights and the Confederate and the wars and all that. But let's talk hard body about the slaves, the conditions that the slaves died in, being hanged on a tree. Just imagine you looking in the eyes of your oppressor as you die. looking at the person who's killing you. Did you ever sit down and think about what would be the condition of that spirit, of that individual? The vengeance and hate that he has on his soul for being lynched and hung on a tree? See that? And then you live the rest of your life free of sin, free of charge. You know, you got a free reign. During slavery, they had a free reign on hanging niggas, where they could hang them, take the body down and bury it, and no consequences was given to the early slave masters during them days. The 1600, the 1500, the 1600, the 1700s. The Europeans had a free reign on slaying indigenous people and the so-called African American slaves. Now, when I found out that spirits can retaliate, I said, damn, you got to think about the condition. Now think about the 1800s. Everybody that lived in the 1800s from 1801 or to 1800 to 1899 is all dead right now. That whole generation is gone, right? Now think about all those people who thought they got away with killing slaves during their day. It's only till a lot of times I hear that when people come near their deathbed, if they did any wrong, they start confessing it, they start spewing it out, because they know that judgment is on the other side waiting for them. And they don't know what to expect because you ain't never been on the other side. So if you kill a person, or if you done harm to a person where they lost their life, and you don't know what's on the other side, when it's your time gets close, you're going to be scared to death because you don't know what to expect. You don't know if you're going to be judged by God, cast in a lake of fire. All these random thoughts going to be going to your head. But the reality is that the truth is you're going to face the person you did bodily harm to, you did injure to, you killed. So when you look at the Americas, we don't hear too much about, killing and going on, all that killing going on with the Native Americans. You don't see that, right? You really see great destruction coming when you see the Christian Crusaders, when they came. That's when bloodshed really started happening big in the Americas. And those Christian Crusaders that came were Europeans. And they was under the inspiration of Louis, right? See, the gods don't give a damn about nationality or what's your skin color or your race. They're soul collectors. All they're interested is in collecting your soul. They'll use black folks, Chinese folks, whatever it is they got to do to use you as a pawn, they're going to do it. But now us, the individuals on the playing field, you hate me, I hate you because of your skin color. You hate me, I hate you because of what you did to my ancestors, and vice versa. That's what we dealing with. We don't even understand the spiritual side. We just getting a glimpse of this. But on the physical side, we dealing with tribal war. So when the Christians came over here, what did they do? They infiltrated the Native Americans and started killing them off. Then when slavery came, they brought in the slavery and started lynching the slaves. So you got two conditions hanging over your head. It's like, in one breath, it's like they want to feel sorry for what they did in the past. But if the service done in the others is the greatest reward, then why are you not serving in respect to what your ancestors did to the African Americans? They feel that, oh, well, my ancestors did that, I ain't got nothing to do with it. The service done in the others. So if you didn't do it, your ancestors did it, but you didn't do it, you're reaping the benefits of your ancestors. The reason black folks a lot of time in the conditions that we in is because we didn't have a fair start in this motherfucker. When we got off the slave trade, nigga, we was in shackles and chains compared to the Europeans who already had a footnote on the land. They was already coming with a plan of destruction because that's what they did. They didn't live amongst the Native Indians. The Native Indians was trying to show them how to live, right? And what did they do to the Native Indians? They killed them. OAHSPE say that the slave masters were barbarians in the Bible and in the OAHSPE. They call the Europeans barbarians. You see that? So sometimes we got to address the reality of tribalism, racism, and all that, because some of them, we try to hide it and act like it don't exist. Nah. That's why I respect a lot of them Israelites on the corner bringing the truth out about these matters. About how, you know what I mean, the Europeans enslaved the Africans, and now it's like, that was the past. They ain't got to pay for that. But they reaping the benefits off of your ancestors. The United States of America was built off the backs of slaves. So rightfully, this should be our land, right? And then according to some, they'll tell you that the indigenous people was already over here when they brought the Africans. Although Africans did come in over here, but it was a great number of indigenous people that looked like Africans that was already over here on the land. You see what I'm saying? So we talk about the nature of the beast, the animalistic side. We all have that in every race. But the Europeans is the youngest race on the planet. So being the youngest, they're going to have an immature behavior in their growth and development. They're just like a child. He got to wean himself from his childish ways. So the Europeans are still weaning themselves from their childish ways. They think they're better than black folks. I see it all the time, man. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend, the OAHSPE was written by a European John Newbro, but I'm not giving nobody a slide just because of that. The information is what we're dealing with. Not John Newbro, not the occultists who made it a cult to go raise some children off the land and create a Jehovah's kingdom. They did that on their own accord. You see that? You can't blame a book for somebody's actions. Because we could sit there and blame, Timothy McVeigh back in 95 when he blew up the goddamn building? He was a Christian, so we're going to blame the Bible for that, or we're going to blame his actions. See that? It's your ways and actions we're looking at. So if I'm here smoking in peace and you come disturbing me about it's too many blacks, you're soliciting. I'm going to call the cops if you don't leave. See, y'all interfering with somebody who ain't doing nothing to y'all. But y'all feel privileged to feel that, it's too many blacks over here. We have the privilege to tell them to move. See that a lot of the Europeans have a lot to work on because they're one of the most racist families on the planet. An African and a goddamn East Indian can talk. They have indigenous culture, they understand. But the European don't have no indigenous culture. They don't have no bush culture. When you go to Africa, you can see the Bushmen. You go to India, you can see the Sadhu with the long locks in the bush. You go to China, everybody got an indigenous side to them except the Europeans. The indigenous side to the Europeans is the Caucasus Mountains. The Caucasus mean dead. Asian is Asia, dead Asian, Caucasus skin Asian. So the Europeans come out of Asia and they're the youngest race. So sometimes we got to address the truth about racism. Because sometimes, people will hold a small thing against you and overlook the big picture. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to address the big picture and leave the small things for small matters. Because if you got a false god over here collecting souls, it don't get no worse than that. The hell with eating a piece of chicken, nigga. Your false god is collecting souls. It don't get no worse than that. So let's address the worst of the worst so we can see what's going on with these false gods and the rest of the people. Like, it gets irritating because you try to lead by example and then people want to point the finger. Oh, look what he do. He do that. He do this. Oh, he got locks. Locks is an East Indian culture. We ain't supposed to have locks. I had Israelites saying stupid things like that. But in the scriptures it says in order to be a Nazarene, you have to let the locks of your hair grow. So it's like, when you don't have no real focus, you focus on minute things, silly things, small things. So like, racism is one of those factors. You don't like a person because of the color of their skin. A lot of people like that, they're going to have a struggle in this world and in the afterworld. Kizzy, I see you. Yes, we in here. But nah, though, because, a lot of times we like to ignore real history, real racism. I see that shit every day. When I look in people's faces, I can read their expression, read their spirit right off the bat. You know what I mean? So the European should be happy for somebody like John Newbro to bring you a revelation of value. Because ever since Alexander the Great got on the scene, that's the face of the European. For the most part, Alexander the Great, he came in as a conqueror. And then his descendants, being the Ptolemies, they conquered Egypt. You know what I'm saying? They came in with destruction, conquering, under the inspiration of their false gods. So now, on an earthly level, we got to deal with racism, tribal war. You don't like me, I don't like you because of your skin complexion. Look at the low vibration frequency that we at. You see what I'm saying? That's why the marijuana had to come into play in the 60s. To bring peace to you racist-minded people. Smoke the bud. Relax. Free up yourself. Get spiritual. Because that hate you have, you're only harming yourself. You ain't harming nobody but yourself. You know, you may be in need one day. You may have a flat tire and a black kid may come to help you, but being that you racism, you reject them. You reject that messenger coming to you. See that? So yeah, it's tribal out here. It's very tribal out here. I live in the South. The Bible Belt, racism. I live in Stone Mountain, KKKville. You see what I'm saying? I see this shit every day. I see these Europeans put on a fake smile and act like, oh, let me just say whatever I say because I can get past them. I read that shit right off the bat. I know a genuine person and a person who's pretending at this point in my life. But you, the European, as an adult, being older, still having that hate, and having a hate that I could see if we hung and lynched you, but we didn't do that. Y'all did that to us. See that? So how can you be racist towards us when you created the atmosphere for racism? You see that? The way that black America is right now, America, you're responsible for the black man of America. The European that's running this country, Uncle Sam, you're responsible for what you made of the black man in this country. You ain't give us equal opportunity and rights. You know what I mean? You're denied us in the courts. What you expect gonna come of a people like that? Look at black and black crime. You're responsible for that, Uncle Sam. Yes, Lou among Europeans, you're responsible for this black and black crime. Y'all could have created an atmosphere of equality. Let the blacks develop them intelligence. Let the blacks develop invention. We created 100 invention by blacks. We created all this shit. Some white folks don't even know that black people created most of the inventions in the Americas. The light bulb, the street light, all that is us. Right? But just imagine if you had an equal opportunity set up from back then and look at the development of the country we'll be in today as far as dealing with humanity. The internet, all this stuff I heard came from black folks. Nikola Tesla said he studied, the Egyptian knowledge to understand that the Tesla technology. He said he studied that for the ancients, us. See that? So it's like when we talk about service done unto others and the grades and the rates in the spiritual kingdom, the Europeans is down here. Believe that. You ain't up here vibrating. You down here. Because all throughout history, you're known for shedding blood. You see what I'm saying? So these things got to be considered too, because we always looking at black folks. You always point the finger at black folks. Black on black crime this. When you look at ancient Egypt, it's all black folks. When you look at the ancient Israelites, it's all black folks. When you look at the ancient Mesopotamians, it's all black folks. War and destruction of black folks back then. But when we just talk about a little bit of European racism and their atrocities to the human race, oh no, you can't do that. Fuck that. We speak all truth. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't pretend. I'm not a fakeist. I'm a faithist, but I'm not a fakeist. I'm not going to hide me smoking, put the weed, and then do the video and act like I'm holier than thou. Then the weed go off, I light my blunt. No, I'm going to light my blunt so you can see me smoke. Because I'm not here to pretend with you. I'm a realist. We're not going to sit here and act like, oh, he smokes, or he drinks liquor, he eats pork, he eats chicken. Oh, I'm going to point the finger at him. Nah. Because when you point the finger at him, somebody pointing the finger at you. So the best thing to do, if there's a message to be received, receive the message. For example, if you're walking down the street and a drunken bum, reeking of alcohol, comes to you and says, hey, there's a guy over there breaking into your car. Are you going to sit there and say, oh, you're drunk, you need to stop drinking, man. You're an alcoholic, you're reeking of smell. Oh, I can't be around your smell. While you doing all that, somebody breaking in your car, you denying the message because you focused on the messenger instead of receiving the message. That's where people mess up at. Focus on the message. Don't worry about the messenger. Me and the Creator are great. We have a great relationship. It's the Creator's herbs I'm burning, right? It's the Creator's herbs we drinking. You did? Hold on 1 second. Yes, family. Family. Yeah, so, I like to deal with the realism, man. I don't like to pretend and sugarcoat shit. I'm not a fakist. I'm not a fakist. So, you got to keep it 100. Y'all know me as Selah Shalom. The streets know me as reality. It's a whole world that don't even know me as Selah Shalom in the streets. They don't know nothing about this. They don't know about OAHSPE and none of this. They know me from being in the streets. And being in the streets is no different than this. You could be real or you could be fake. You could be running with truth or you could be running with the lies. Pretending and faking the funk. I wasn't raised like that. I came across the OAHSPE in 2005, 2006, around there. That's when I came into the OAHSPE. Just a couple of years. I've been reading this book. But I've been living my life prior to this book. Still guided by the Creator. The Creator guided me to his book. He said, yo, that's my son right there. I want him to have this knowledge. The Creator ain't stopped me from getting this information. The Creator sent this information. Ain't nobody stopped me from getting this information. The drudges and the spirits of darkness ain't stopped shit. Regardless of my habits, regardless of the evil spirits surrounding us, regardless of the influence of evil spirits that influences everyone, that ain't stopped me from getting this information. The drudges, everybody have spirits upon them. Everybody. Your guardian angel, and then you can have drudges attached to you, right? Based off your habits, right? But it's up to you. Are you going to allow those drudges to run you, or are you going to run the drudges? The habit don't determine the dictatorship of the drudges. You can smoke, you can eat pork, but you can still be doing righteousness in the process of impurity. OAHSPE says if you have drudges or spirits of darkness upon you and you lift them up, that's a reward and a benefit for you. I'm not out here burning and eating meat and drinking drunken and going out here practicing doing evil. I'm in the house reading scriptures about life after death and how to return to the Creator while smoking some bud. Where is the evil in that? Even if the drudges and the spirits of darkness is attached to me, right? They're learning. That's what you feel to realize. They're learning while they're engrafting on a person. But if I'm out there doing up to no good, smoking and drinking and out there up to no good, then yeah, they will have great influence over you. But my drudges, the spirits of darkness that lingers around me, they learning over here. They being educated and taught. They have no influence of me over here. No. The same influence that influenced me to take a drink of water. This water, I'm not addicted to this water. I drink this water the same way I drink this, smoke this herb. Ain't no spirits like, hey, I got him, we got him. Nah, ain't none of that. The spirit is stronger than the flesh. But the flesh is going to partake of the corporeal world. Yeah. Jehovah said, I command you to become herbivorous. Weed is a herb. Weed is a herb. Tobacco is a plant. You see what I'm saying? But to take the life of an animal and eat it is way worse than that. It's way worse than that. You taking the life. Elijah, I see you. Rashad, I see you. What's up, big dog? See you, King. Just dropping some real ism, real truth, reality. See what I'm saying? 400 years of slavery. See, they don't talk about slavery like that, man. One day I'm going to do a lecture on slavery and talk about the atrocities and the details of this shit. Show you how deep this shit really goes. That's why this revelation had to come and reveal this information. So you would understand on the spiritual side what's taking place, so you don't go crazy on the physical side. Because if you kill one of mine, I'm coming for yours. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's a physical reality that you can't escape. I don't care how righteous you claim to be. If you just had a 2-month-old baby and somebody came and blow that baby's brains out, you ain't gonna sit there and, oh, okay. You gonna go deal with that man. You gonna go deal with that man. You may take that man's life, and you had a right to. But now you got to deal with the vengeance of that man's spirit, although you was in the right for doing what you did. But now he's in spirit and can retaliate when you cross over. That's how deep this shit get, man. When the OAHSPE describe these hells and these knots, it's like big gang fights that has like long duration. You ever seen a fight that just been going? It's like, damn, when this shit go in? It's like that. The conditions of hell is enduring. There you go, babe. Yeah. So we got to be real, man. We can't be faking the funk. All right. So we can't be faking the funk out here, man. I'm not going to sit here and act like I just read the OAHSPE and I follow everything hook, line, and sinker. I'm a holier than thou. Nah, man. I'm a hood nigga, man. I'm a street dude. Grew up right across from the projects. Grew up in the black community. Seen niggas get shot and murdered. Some of y'all ain't been through that, man. So stop playing like this is real life for me. I don't pretend and sugarcoat shit. I give it to you raw and the same way I give it to you raw and uncut with the scriptures, I give it to you raw and uncut, just real talk. Without the scriptures, just daily life. Coping with life. Jehovah, I like that. What it do, King? Peace. Yeah, man. We gotta address and talk reality sometimes, man. We can't always act like it's always about book. I love this OAHSPE. I indulge in it all the time, but sometimes you gotta go out there and face the real. When you go out there and face the real world, you can't talk about Frank, Patty, and Osiris to the real world. When I see niggas in the street, I know they ain't hearing, they ain't listening to no OAHSPE. They got their banger on them. Ask me, do I want some weed? What's good, reality? You know, you good? You good on the smoke? Yeah, I'm good, son. How you? You stayed out of trouble, my nigga? All right, bro. Yo, that's how I talk to my people out there. That's how I maneuver the spirit of Jehovah in the hood, by speaking their language and showing them love. Some of y'all white folks ain't coming down here in the hood. Come to Atlanta, come to the hood and talk to these young broken-hearted black kids who got 2 guns and 3 guns with extended clips, 30-round clips. Come in my world and then talk to me about faithism or talk to me about holiness when I'm living in hell. Within the last couple of years, I know a couple of young kids that lost their life right here at the liquor store, at the store where I live at. Gun violence. Come in my world. Come in the black community. If you're a white faithist, come in the black community and come to the hood and see what it really feels like to live in hell. You ain't experienced hell. You don't know what the fuck it is to have no electricity in the goddamn winter. To have no food, and you really got to go out there and do something to get some food. Some of y'all white folks ain't never experienced that. Y'all got the silver spoon in your mouths, man. Y'all got generational wealth from your ancestors, from slavery. And they got rich back then. So when you came along, you just reaping the benefits of your ancestors. While your ancestors robbed mine and we reaping the benefits of poverty. See that? That's America. That's what Luamong, under the inspiration of the Europeans, under the inspiration of Luamong, committed this division in America. America's in the condition of that where we in right now is because of Luamong and the European. Before the European, the Native Americans, all the pictures we see pre-Columbus, you see the Native Indians at peace. They chilling, they smoking their peace pipe, they in their teepees. You don't see them niggas warring and swords drawn out, guns and shit. You don't see the Native Indians moving like that. But when the European came, what did they come with? They come with that musket gun and that goddamn Bible, that damn same Bible, that King James Bible, and they came with them guns and a cross. In the name of their God, looking at you like you a primitive motherfucker. This is the European in America we talking about. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be real here. You know what I mean? The European look at you like you a predator. Now someone say, I'm not speaking of all European, but we speaking of nations here. Nations. All nations is racist to a degree. The same way I'm talking about the European could apply to the Chinaman as well. The Chinaman will look at you the same way, but we don't have a connection with the Chinaman. We got a connection with the European. The European, the blacks, and the Native Americans. Those the motherfuckers of America. We have we grew like that. We grew together in this land. The Chinaman, the Africans, they came after later. They came when the benefits was rolling. But the niggas who put blood, sweat, and tears in this motherfucker was the Africans who came through the transatlantic slave trade and the indigenous Americans who was already here. Then come the European. That's the judgment of America. The judgment of America is the judgment of Luamong using these Europeans. So the judgment is going to be on these Europeans. When they talk about the fall of Uz in the Bible, in this OAHSPE, and the fall, when they talk about the four heads of the beast, the European is one of them. Now notice, the European is Christianity, Islam is the Arabs, Buddhism is the Chinese, Brahmanism is the Indians. Notice ain't no black folks in that motherfucking four heads of the beast. It's these other nations. We the victims. In the OAHSPE, it showed you that the four heads of the beast are these other nations. And we the victims. The faithists has always been the victims. See that? So when you want to talk realism to me, come holler at me. Outside of this Bible talk. If we're going to address minute and small things, when we want to start pointing, then I'm going to start pointing, throwing them darts. Willie Lynch talked about how, you know what I mean, to separate the light skin and the dark skin, to have them hate each other. That slave master that letter floated around in Americas on how to deal with your slaves. See that? You looked at niggas as property. You still look at niggas as property. Even the ones that try to be cool still got a sense of like, that's you still a nigga. Huh? Come on now. Europeans look at you as property. In the Constitution, they wrote niggas in as 3/4 of a human. Fuck you mean 3/4 of a human? Who wrote that shit? That shit ain't come from True God. True God ain't telling niggas we 3/4 of a human. That came from your false ass God, man. So we got to be real. If we're gonna deal with if we're gonna receive the informations in this book spoken through the messenger, or are we gonna focus on the messenger and then see how deep the rabbit hole goes when we deal with cultural differences? Family, what do I do? And on a daily basis, I got a business, beloved. When I get orders, and I got orders in now, I got to ship out tomorrow. I work for myself, got my own business. I work for the goddamn state coming up, doing all type of jobs coming up. You know what I mean? Warehouse, shipping and receiving, goddamn delivery driving. Then I found me a niche to make money, and it'll started working for me. You know what I mean? YouTube pay you. You know what I mean? You can get paid off of YouTube if you build up your channel and put in the work. Monetize, you get over 1,000 subscribers. You could monetize your video and you could make money off of YouTube. You got people making a living off of YouTube. So it's like, you know, the methods, the way to get money today is, ain't no excuses to be broke. You know what I'm saying? I wish I would have had this back in the 90s when I was a teenager coming up where I could goddamn create a free account and make money off a free account. No, in my day, it's either you work, go look for a 9 to 5, fill out an application, or you hustle in the streets. You go buy you a pound and break that shit down, or buy you a QP and break that shit down to dimes and nicks and dubs and flip that shit. And you just hustle until you get where you trying to get. I started hustling at 16. As soon as I hit 16, nigga, we hustling. 10th, 11th grade, nigga, we hustling. By the time I turned 17, I'm driving now, nigga. I'm a hustler and bought enough. I was hustling and working. I was working at Sears and selling my weed on the side. Bam, brought me a whip. All my niggas is riding with me. They shot because of 17. We 17 and I'm driving. Now they want to get their hustle up, so they want to ride now. I was setting examples back then. Just the way I'm setting the examples now with this, I was setting examples as a child. Showing my niggas at a young age, you can stack your money and buy you a whip and be driving. And sure enough, my man brought him a caddy right after me. But if he ain't see me do it, we wouldn't have had no reason to want to get a car. I saved my money, bought that whip, boom, we riding. I'm hitting the city making plays now. They stuck in an apartment complex selling their weed, but now I can go to the city and get all the out-of-towners and get that out-of-towner money. 16, 17, that's what we was doing. And I was still working. You know what I'm saying? So I done been through the trenches, man. I done been through the trenches. That's why I could bust down this OAHSPE. Because it's life experience. I need some herbal tea. Well, hit the link in the description. I got the link to the website. You know what I mean? Get you some medicinal herbs, yeah? Full body detox. Your immune system booster, your carbon C7. Them type of vibes. You dig? Peace, GOAT. I see you. I see you, sis. Yeah, I heard of Don Calloway. Ain't too many of these cats I haven't heard. But Don Calloway, yeah, he talk about the indigenous Native Americans. But then you got the black conscious community attacking him about, you know, doing the DNA and the haplogroup. See, I believe that it was indigenous people in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? I believe that. The evidence shows it. And I ain't talking about the Asiatic Native American. I'm talking about, you would think these niggas came out of Africa looking Native Americans. The indigenous like that. In the OAHSPE, it talks about after the flood, the fleets of Gautama, which was the Native Americans, settled in Central America. And when you look at the evidence of the people of Central America, you're looking at copper-skinned people. You're looking at brown-skinned people. They got locks and everything. So we're showing you then that indigenous people was here, according to the OAHSPE, 25,000 years ago from the flood. You dig? Yeah, your great-grandmother said to your family, yeah. A lot of us was here. Like even with my family tree, on my mother's side, we West Indian, we Caribbean from Trinidad. So her lineage is indigenous to the Arawak tribe in the Caribbeans. But on my father's side now, they may have came through the transatlantic slave trade. So I have some indigenous to the west through the Caribbeans, through the Arawaks, you know, the natives. Those were the indigenous people of the Caribbeans. Yeah, I got some of that blood. That's where that iron, you know what I mean? That's where that iron is. Cause my grandmother, them were little people, yo. My grandmother and them, you know what I mean, short. With coarse hair. My grandmother, they may have nappy, kinky, hard hair, like, you know what I mean? Like, as we know it as black people here. They had coarse, wavy hair, naturally wavy. But it was coarse, but it was wavy, you know what I'm saying? That was my mother's side. But on my father's side, that's straight Negro. Straight up Negro. So yeah, black people was over here, you know what I'm saying? Even in the OAHSPE, it talks about Futma, the pyramid builder, back then. You talking about 4,000 damn near years ago that these niggas traveled over here. And the evidence shows in the Grand Canyon when you see the evidence of Egyptian artifacts. Right here in the West. Yeah, I got Cash App. If you click the description, it's a link. It got Cash App, the link to the website, and a link to a PayPal to donate. You know what I mean? Yeah, yo, I love this shit. I love to drop knowledge and information, but don't get caught out there. Don't focus on the minute things. We all gotta work. It's all things we gotta work on. That's why I do what I do, because I ain't trying to be somebody who you think I am. I'm me. You can't make me to what you think I am. That's why I smoke this blunt in front of you. Oh my God, see like smokes? Oh, that's not, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I do this, man. Who the fuck is you? You see the difference now? Don't get it twisted. Cosmon is a balance, physical and spiritual. You still got to have your discipline, your warlike military thinking, and you still got to be as harmless as a dove. But you got to know when. You got to be strategic. That's where the balance coming at. That's where wisdom coming at. When to strike and when not. See that? So yeah. What is a good opening line to help unfold someone? It just depends on the situation. And in that situation, the spirit of discernment will tell you exactly what to say. So there is no pre-coded message for that. You just got to know how to respond when the time is. But you got to be in line with the Creator to know how to get a right answer. Because if you're a Christian and you're talking about Jesus, you're going to give them some Jesus answer. Some shit they may not want to hear. You got to give something that they could feel. Something that can relate to themselves. Something that they can relate to their experience. That's what it is, unfolding others. You know what I mean? Doing service unto others is getting to that person's world, seeing what's going on. It's like a psychologist. That's what this shit about. That's what this shit about. You know how many people come and say, yo, reality, man, oh, Selah, Shalom, thanks, man. You know, I was going down the wrong path with these false guys. Now I'm on the, you know, I'm linked, you know, I got the Creator on my back now. Well, I'm smoking my weed or drinking my, I don't drink. Or the person who may drink. The Israelites like to sip their wine. When they recruit somebody in their camp, they feel good about it. Because according to them, they're doing their service to their God. But I'm doing the service to the Creator. You know, you think I give a damn what a person say when I'm waking up souls to the Creator? What? Come on now. You got thousands of people out here following a false God. Thousands, millions. From Christianity to Islam. And here you got this little old few people around here like us who identify the Creator. We caught it. They missed it. But we caught it. And we few in number. So look at the bigger picture. Look at the big war that's going on. We got the tribal war for racism, black people. White people don't like black people, and black people got to face dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? There is no history of black people lynching white people in this country. You can't. I could pull up 10 pictures right off the back right now of 10 different lynchings from white people that's done to black people. But you can't find that in the reverse. So who's the real devil? Based off behavior and characteristics. See that? The nature of the beast is in that European. Now, the nature of the beast is in that Chinaman. The nature of the beast is in that East Indian. The nature of the beast is these other nations, just like the OAHSPE say. But we the chosen people, right? Don't your Bible say that? The Israelites, we the chosen people of God. They talk about Moses and the OAHSPE. They talk about the chosen, or the Oralites. Not Israelites, but Oralites, because they carried the oral tradition, and they deal with purity and holiness. But then you had the Leviticus priesthood, the Leviticus law, the lower law. OAHSPE talk about that. OAHSPE talk at times the sea was not to mix with no other nations. It talks about all that. But it was a growth and development for a bigger picture. But if you stay stuck on the minute things, you're going to start missing out on the bigger picture. I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not looking at the minute things. I could point the finger. Everybody could point the finger at the next person. Y'all could do that. I could look at your background and say, oh, you eat meat. You eat meat, you eat the OAHSPE, and you eat, after the OAHSPE told you all that about meat and you still eat meat, I'll be a hypocrite if I start moving and acting like that. That type of person. That's fake. That's not being realistic. But I will come with a solution to help your diet to improve your body to get rid of that meat. Why are you still eating your meat? Until you're ready to wean yourself off that meat. I'm not here to tell you when. I'm here to assist you in helping you to get better. So if you ain't got a plan for me, keep it to yourself. And if you ain't got a plan for the family, keep it to yourself. If you ain't got a plan for the nation, keep it to yourself. The European got a lot of job, a great job and a great labor under their belt for the crimes and atrocities done in this land. We're not talking about Africa. We're not talking about Europe. We're talking about America. When niggas, 1776 and all that, when they established it with dates, we talking about that. We talking about who committed the most bloodshed in this land. Let's talk about that. Who killed the most people in this land of America? From the time the African slaves and the Europeans landed on this land, who committed the most bloodshed? Was it the indigenous people, the Native Americans? Was it the Africans? I don't know, because they was in shackles, with shackles around their necks and arms, so I don't know how they would do that. Or was it the Europeans who had weaponry, who had guns, musket guns, weapons, swords, while niggas was in chains under the boats? You know what I mean? Shitting on each other, chained up. So let's be real here. The fall of America is going to be the fall of the European rule in this country. And the indigenous people is going to inherit the land. We the ones that's going to set up the colonies. Look at, just read the OAHSPE. Read your Bible. Read the story of Moses. Against Pharaoh, Moses had the slaves. The slaves is us. One rose up to fight against the nation. Who was the nation? Pharaoh. That's the Europeans in this country. Same shit. Same shit. And what happened? The nation fell. The people murmured because they were so accustomed to the lifestyle. Great change is coming. We coming up to that 200-year marker of Cosmon. And Jehovah said, until Uz fall, then shall my kingdom be established. So great change is coming, yo. The elites, the powers, them niggas about to take a dip. They already took a dip spiritually, because in the OAHSPE shows that the false gods were redeemed from hell and they're sent back out to do righteous labor. So Luamung is actually doing works against his own doctrine right now. He got to expose his own doctrine before he could ascend. He got to go around telling niggas like, yo, I wasn't the God who created the earth the seventh day. I made all that shit up. Jesus Christ, yeah, he was a fake, but I made all that shit up. That's what Luamung got to come back and do. Until he do every soul and reverse every mind from that belief system that you believe the Father, Son, and the Trinity, Jesus Christ is the Son of God. All that got to be reversed. It's only the Creator. He got to come back and bring you the doctrine of the Creator. So look at the labor and the endurance and magnitude of time that Luamung got to face, and those who believed in the doctrine. It gets deep. I'm going to inbox you on Facebook. All right, that's what's up. When I get off here, I'll check it. Yeah, I got more music coming. I got some crazy music, yo. And I do hip-hop music. I'm not one of these cats who get turned righteous and then stop. Everything is like right now. I got street music, head-banging music. You know what I mean? Life scenarios, gun bang-outs. Put that shit in story form in music. But I don't do trap music. I don't do drill music. I do hip-hop. You know what I mean? Wu-Tang sounding type shit. DJ Premier, Mobb Deep type shit. You know what I mean? Nas. You know what I mean? That's the sound of music that you're going to get from me. So if you like that type of sound, Griselda and, Rock, Marciano, all them type of cats, Ghostface, Killer Raekwon, Redman, Method, that type of vibe, that's what you're going to get from me with this music. You know what I mean? Nope, Faithists never engaged in military tactics, but there is a section of Faithists called warrior Faithists. and they were defenders of the faithists. So, you know, you could defend. You could fuck somebody up, but don't kill them. You know what I mean? It says thou shalt not murder and kill. But you could bop, back a motherfucker off you and you fall back. You know what I'm saying? So keep in mind, this is the animal kingdom we in. We still part beast in nature. So we're not going to be sitting up here living hokey dokey and holy la 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 la. You got to be realistic. You know what I'm saying? You can walk outside and somebody try you and break your peace. You have peace with yourself, and you go outside and somebody try you and break your peace. And you got to decide how you're going to deal with that situation. You're going to walk it off or pull out your bang and bang it out. And that goes for anybody. You could be walking with your 2-year-old daughter, somebody try you. And he may have to bang on him. Now you got to protect your child because he's done pulled out. You know what I mean? Real life situations. So we're not going to sit here and pretend and act like somebody is holier than thou because you smoke a little weed or drink a little beer or eat a little meat. We're not playing them games. We ain't come up in generations of holiness. Nigga, you just found out about the OAHSPE 20, 30, 40 years ago. And you just read the book. And now you a faithist of holier than thou? Let's be realistic here. We still the same person who we was before we got this OAHSPE. We're just in awareness now of this level of information. And we're trying to make the changes. That's the reality. I go out there right now and see a European looking crazy at me like he racist and I buck back. Yeah, vice versa. That's why I said, European faithists come to the black community in the ghettos. If you could overcome that, if you could not show your racism and really show humanity, then you will pass the test. The Bible says test the spirit. We don't have to test you. Just because you read the OAHSPE don't mean we cool. I don't move like that. Just because me and you see eye to eye with this book don't mean we cool. I judge people based off their behavior and characteristics. Because that's what shows the true nature of their spirit. Not some shit you could read and memorize. This is the reality of life. This is book knowledge, and it's great. But then you got to deal with the reality of life. And the beauty thing about the OAHSPE, it coincides with the reality of life. Showing you the trials and error, the misfortunes in this book. Everything is not honky-dory. So that's the reality right there. Cal P. My nigga Cal P. They say that Jesus was whooping ass in the temple. Yeah, the way the Europeans and the Christians portray Jesus, like he's this fucking metrosexual looking motherfucker. Some soft ass nigga. Nah. Even in the OAHSPE, it say Joshua was a severe preacher. Severe teacher. Severe. You know what severe mean? Nigga wasn't playing no games. And if the Messiah was going through the temple whipping niggas with the whip, and he was a Nazarene, so just imagine a black man with locks going up in the church whipping niggas. Just imagine he whipping white folks. Hang that nigga. What the fuck then? Where this nigga come from? What type of nigga is this? He ain't like the other slaves. This nigga then rose up and started whipping us. Hang this nigga. And that's exactly what they did to the Messiah. They crucified that man. The Romans got a piece of him. Capital punishment. Hung the nigga on the cross. The Jews got a piece of him. So let's not act like this shit is holier than thou. It's bloodshed in history. It's bloodshed that the holy men had to navigate when they came to bring the word of the truth. Bloodshed. Didn't they chop John the Baptist's head off? Come on. And you worrying about some personal habits? Let's be realistic here. Now you exposing who you are and where your mind at. I don't focus on nobody's personal habits. I focus on the bigger picture because it's bigger shit we got going on. If I focused on the personal shit, I'd be one of the biggest motherfucking haters of Europeans because of what you did to my ancestors. You want to stay there with it? Or you want to get holy and get righteous and try to understand the higher level of consciousness through the OAHSPE? Or you want to take it on a carnal level? Because you definitely don't want to go on a carnal level because black people got vengeance and hate inside of them based off what the ancestors, based off what your Europeans did to our ancestors. That's why we try to shove that shit in the back of our mind as much as possible. Because when you start bringing up pictures of niggas being lynched and hanged on trees, you know what that do? It stir up the spirit. It's like, that's how we do it? That's what they did to my people? See that? So let's not focus on the minute things. We trying to not be like that. We trying to become spiritual and holy. You know what I mean? We trying to suppress that and let that stay down there and raise the vibrational frequency of brotherhood and sisterhood. But you can't come in as a fakist because I'm going to see it. Because I'm a genuine person and I know truth when I see it. Because I am the truth. The Creator made me the truth. Just like He made you the truth if you truthful. Truthful people going to see eye to eye. Just like in the streets. What they say, real niggas see eye to eye. But a real nigga could detect a fake nigga any day. He'll be around for 5 minutes and know this nigga ain't no real nigga. This nigga will squeal to the cops or some shit jump off. Or if we got to bust our gun, he gonna run. Or he the type to whatever the case may be. When you have certain life experiences, when you've been through certain things, when you put your trust in certain people and they betrayed you, when you see people run for opportunities and use you for opportunists, use you for being an opportunist. When you experienced all these things, you read people's spirit. You identify with it. And you know it when you see it. You'll know it when it's coming. And you could identify, this nigga's fake. Or, this nigga's real. Or, this person's genuine. Or, this person's right and holy. Or, this person is evil. I know I've been around evil people. I'm talking about people who killed and got bodies on them. And when they come around, that shit resonates. See, European fakeness, you don't know nothing about that. You don't have a goddamn clue about that. Don't question me about minute things. Don't question me about minute things. Because the shit that niggas done been through in this country through slavery, segregation, lynching, we not gonna play them games, yo. So we gonna stick to the knowledge and we gonna keep it here. We gonna focus on the messenger and not the messenger. Because the messenger may not be right and exact, just like you may not be right and exact. See that? We all trying to work this shit out. We all got goddamn loose screws. I'm not always happy to the honky-dory nigga. I snap sometimes. Yeah, I face life obstacles and pressure will get to you sometimes. Marriage will get to you sometimes. Arguing with your mate. You have good days, you got bad days. You know what I mean? Your man may call you, I got a situation. You got to be loyal to your man. You don't know what the fuck people going through. So when the message is being spoken, and that opportunity you have to listen to the message, because the message ain't going to always be here. Because anybody can read the OAHSPE, not everybody can bust this shit down. Not everybody can break this motherfucker down and make it make sense. On a mind note, on a rational level, on a rudimentary level. Break this shit down for a kid to understand. You know what I mean? We ain't getting philosophical and complex. We breaking this shit down on a simplistic level to the point the simplicity sounds philosophical and complex. You see that? That's how we moving. Cal P, my nigga. Severe teacher. That's right. Exactly. So yeah. What we got here. I want to read a couple verses. See where we at with it. You know what I mean? We just vibing, freestyling right now. No particular topic at hand. No particular topic at hand. Just answer with questions. You got questions? Throw it in the chat. We get busy. We's get busy. See, the OAHSPE so illy, man. You can just turn anywhere and start reading and get involved in this shit. You know what I mean? It's like the way they break down the examples and correlate it to either nature, a situation in life. That's the ill shit about the OAHSPE, the metaphors and parables, the way they break that shit down, the way it correlates. Like, for example, where it states here in the Book of Fragapati, Son of Jehovah, chapter 21, verse 2, it states, as mortal children can be taught by objective illustrations, so have I created my spirit worlds capable of similar process subjectively. See that? My rules are not man's rules, nor are my worlds illustrated as man illustrateth. See that? Behold, my rainbow, which is a subjective illustration to mortals of a bow without the substance of a bow. But man bendeth a stick and saith, Behold, a bow. And he holdeth it in his hand, but mine he cannot touch. See that? The Creator creates subjective realities. And these subjective realities are expressions for comprehension. You can't comprehend nothing if you can't see it. You got to go back to them rudimentary levels when you was a child and you learned rectangles, triangles, when you learned A, B. See, now you a master of these things, so you overlook the struggles you had to learn comprehension in order to even comprehend and identify. That's the beauty about OAHSPE, because these subjective realities are created for spirits who may have died young, like children, infants, and they never got a chance to learn comprehensive things. So they got to learn through subjective realities that the more advanced angels create in a simulated heaven. They create the subjective reality, and the angels are taught subjectively like that to begin to comprehend earthly things that they would have learned on earth, but they're learning them subjectively while they exist in heaven. That's the beauty about the OAHSPE. So even the infant has an opportunity to grow in spirit and still become a blossoming angel for the Creator. That's why I love this OAHSPE. Check this shit out. We talking about subjective heavens like we did the other night. Same chapter, verse 16. Just the wisdom of the way this book is written is beautiful. Check it, verse 16. Hold up. Let me start with verse 14. Let me start where it says Jehovah, the Creator. You dig? Jehovah had said, Behold, O man, thou art the chiefest glory of my creation. The chiefest, meaning you the head nigga of my creation. That's what the Creator's saying, yo. He say me and you are the head honchos in creation under him. That's a beautiful thing. So, outside of the Creator's creation, he's saying you is the chiefest, the head nigga, you my nigga. That's what the Creator's saying to us. Behold, O man, thou art the chiefest glory of my creation. Neither created I any animal that walketh on land, or flieth in the air, or swim in the water, or that crawleth on its belly, with desire for spiritual life, nor the capacity to accumulate spirituality. So Jehovah's saying that, like, yo, I created you chief of all the animals on the planet. You out of all the animals can reflect and comprehend the idea of your Creator. And you have an existence spiritually, life after death that lives on everlastingly. But to thee only, O man, have I given power to aggregate the spiritual entity. Verse 15. For my animals I bestow like a vessel that is full of water. No more can be put into them. When the vessel is destroyed, the water runneth back to the ocean. I quicken them into life by my own hand. But when I take away my hand, lo, they are gone back into dissolution. As a drop of water hath no power before the sun, but evaporates and is unseen and is seen no more, so is the spirit of all the animals I created before the light of my countenance. But to thee, O man, I give power for everlasting life. See that? So we said the animals I created to exist, but they will go back into dissolution, dissipation. But you, man, I created to last everlastingly. See that? Creator saying, yo, we the head honchos on this joint. You my reflection. You gonna last forever. Everything around you is in you have dominion over everything around you. Everything around you is gonna fade away, but you, old man, will last forever. The earth will fade away, but the spirit of man will still exist. Ain't that something? Or watch me talk about angels that are older than the earth. Angels that been in existence longer than the earth was in existence. That's deep. Showing you that man and woman spirit is everlasting. Now, let's keep reading. Where we at with it? Here we go. Let me take a sip on this one. Verse 16. Nevertheless, as a man may take a drop of water and put it in a veil, and keep it for a long time, so have I given to my exalted angels power to take the spirit of a fish, of an animal suddenly dead, and reclothe it with the semblance of a body for a season. But yet it is only a subjective existence. See the power that the angels have? Because the angels in the second heaven, the lessons in the second heaven is mastering the elements, having control and mastery over the elements. That's the lessons learned in the second resurrection. So here again it says, I given to my exalted angels power to take the spirit of a fish or of an animal suddenly dead and reclothe it with the semblance of a body for a season. But yet it is only a subjective existence. See that? And even as a man letteth a stone out of his hand, and it falleth to the ground, so when my angels let go their hands of my spiritual animals, their spirits fall into the sea of my body, and are seen no more. What is the body of the Creator? The vortex. It dissipates back into the cosmic dust, or vapor, or gas. Even so, also, but in less degree created I the trees, the grass, the moss, and all vegetation, all vegetable things that grow on the face of the earth. And I give to my exalted angels power to take the spirit out of a tree. Listen now. Because this is showing you how the subjective realities are created using corporality. Showing you the connection between heaven and earth. Or earth and atmosphere. How they coexist. It says, and I give to my angels, my exalted angels, power to take the spirit out of a tree. Or a bush. Or a plant. And to carry it away and reclothe it with corporeal substance. But to my exalted gods, I give powers to do the same things, not with one plant alone, but with whole forests, and with animals, and fish and serpents. And when they do these things in atmospheria, they are called subjective heavens. See that? So the angels can take the sustenance from the physical world, reclothe it in the lower heavens, and create a subjective reality to help people who have crossed over, who need to regain their memory and conscience through these subjective realities. These are ways of resurrection. These are ways of the same lost spirits, wandering spirits, who don't know where they're going, whence they came. They don't even know if they're born. They just totally destitute. These subjective realities are created to help them. See what we got going on here? This is real shit we got going on here. Not no play, minute things. We dealing with spirits of the dead who are struggling in spirit based off how they was cut off on life, on earth. Maybe a car accident. Maybe you got shot. However you died, you struggling in the spirit. Because you don't want to die, right? If you get cut short now, that wasn't planned. So you're going to be struggling in spirit because you done lost your body. You're trying to regain your body. You're trying to figure out what happened to you. So the angels create these subjective realities to help regain your memory, to help regain your conscience, to help you comprehend that you have transitioned. You see that? And these angels that serve the Creator are nourishing and nourishing because they understand what it's like and what it's been through because they went through it. And they was nurtured and weaned in the same manner. That's why they assist to be guardian angels to those who freshly crossed over in spirit, because that's how they was delivered. See that? This is the real shit going on. This is what the OAHSPE is telling you right here. They create subjective realities by taking sustenance from the earth and creating and clothing it and creating subjective realities or subjective heavens. Verse 17. Wherefore it came to pass in the ancient days that when spirits of darkness returned to mortals, they told them that heaven was like unto the earth, with everlasting life unto all animals as well as to man. See that? So the angels who was dwelling in these subjective realities, when they came back to man, or when they came back to mediums, or those who can hear the spirits of the dead, they telling them like, yo man, up here is just like how it was on earth. They got lakes, they got fishes, not knowing that's a subjective reality. This shit is deep, right? But they're there because they're being taught to regain their consciousness. And once they regain their consciousness, they're in the realm. They're getting more familiar with it, getting more used before the angels come and say, hey, now that you where you at, this shit wasn't even real. This was a simulation. This was an uploaded program, nigga. This was the Matrix. Now let me come show you the real world. Now you like, God damn, this wasn't real? Now you kind of like almost going back into chaos a little bit, like, oh shit. But now you're conscious now. That's what the whole purpose of the play was for, to help you regain your consciousness so you can move on to the next level. These are the strategies, the methods that true God got to use to wake up the spirits of the dead who are struggling in the spirit and wandering spirits and drudges, hundreds and thousands and millions of them. You see what I'm saying? Look at the responsibility of the gods. Now, where we at? Verse 17. Let's read it again. Wherefore it came to pass in the ancient days when the spirits of darkness returned to mortals, they told them that heaven was like unto the earth, with everlasting life unto all animals as well as to man. Turn not away from such spirits, O man, but learn from them, that thou may not tarry long in my heavens, my bound heavens, when thou become a spirit also. See that? So the Creator's like, yo, don't turn from them, because they right, because they already in the realm. Learn from them, but know that those are my bound heavens. That's deep. It says, turn not away from such spirits, O man, but learn from them, that thou may not tarry long in my bound heavens, when thou become a spirit. So we say, don't get caught up in this shit, because you're going to continue to elevate. So don't get too comfortable and, let me go fishing, and you thinking you goddamn relaxed, when this is just a stepping stone for you to go to the next grade. You dig? Verse 18. For if thou settest thy soul to feed on animals, and to dwell with them, the gods cannot deliver thee to the emancipated heavens, till thou hast served thy time in the lower heavens. See that? Pause. See what I'm saying? Ain't nobody running to the emancipated heavens right off the bat. So let's stop pointing the finger at minute things. It says what? For if thou settest thy soul to feed on animals, I don't eat animals. I smoke herb, but I don't eat animals. It's a different attraction. It's a different engraftment of spirit. If thou settest thy soul to feed on animals, it didn't say herbs, and to dwell with them, the gods cannot deliver thee to my emancipated heavens, till thou hast served thy time in the lower heavens. So you got to serve your time in the lower heavens till you get weaned from this thing. And that's with all habits. Because when you were sent to the emancipated worlds, all earthly habits got to get left behind. Even fruits and vegetables. You got to rise above that. It's etheric food that you're not going to find on earth that you're going to have to sustain on. That's not found on the lower planes. There's shit going on in the higher realm that the lower planes on the earth don't know nothing about. They got some shit going on up there that the lower and the earth ain't up on yet because we ain't got there. They sustaining on a whole nother sustain. Nothing coming from the lower heavens. You did? So it's levels to this shit, like they say, right? So now, tarry not long in my lower heavens. So now, where we at? Alright. One great light have I bestowed unto all men, that they may progress forever. Thou the waters of the ocean rise up and make clouds, and the clouds fall down as rain, and run to the rivers, and thence back into the ocean 1,000 times, 10 times 10,000 times. Yet that water hath not progressed. Just repeating the same thing, right? Neither have I given progress to a stone, nor to a tree, nor to an animal, but to man only have I given progress. See that? Animals can't build no house. Nature does its normal progress. It's basic, regular ecosystem. But man can manipulate nature on a whole nother level because we are the chief deities. When you say chief, you the head honcho. You a deity. That's what God is saying. You the head nigga in charge. Man, woman on a corporeal level, on a corporeal plane, and man and woman on a spiritual plane is the head honchos of the plane. Outside of the creator, of course. Now, verse 19. Be wise, O man, and tie not thyself to things that progress not, nor set thy soul upon them, lest they become a bondage to thee in the next world. But for drunks I have created heavens midway between light and darkness, subjective and objective, that they may be redeemed. See that? So there's always a plan of redemption going on here in the OAHSPE. The OAHSPE just ain't leaving motherfuckers out there to just dry out and die. True God's whole agenda is to create strategies and methods and plans to help get you risen up to the grades. So if you this destitute and docile like a baby, we got to create subjective realities to regain your consciousness. Once your consciousness regained, we're going to start progressing you in the heavenly kingdoms from the first second so you can ascend off the planet. But these are the methods from the lowest to the middle to the high that true God has to navigate to keep graduated souls graduating to etheria, because that's the purpose of life, graduating to etheria. So all these little events going on is ways to get you to etheria, to get you roused up and understand, to get you to graduate. That's what the advanced angels are here to do, to help you graduate. You dig? Yeah. It's enough of that, though. That was just some gems right there. Dealing with the subjective reality. And Gia, I see you. Yep, one of the three births of man or woman working toward the emancipated heavens. That's right. But when a man is born, is he still man or a newborn? He's still man. When you come out this physical body, your spiritual body is this. Your physical body is a reflection, an outward expression of your spiritual body. So if you 10 years old, that's the expression of your spiritual body as a 10-year-old. And if you die as a 10-year-old, you will begin to grow in spirit from that point onward. So when you die as a grown-ass man, you're going to wake up in spirit as a grown-ass man, but you're going to be newborn in the sense of freshly being born out, your spirit coming out the body. You're freshly dead. As soon as you die, you a newborn spirit, but newborn in the sense that your spirit is being birthed out your body. But you're not gonna be like a newborn, like a nigga doing this shit. No, it ain't that. You still in adult comprehension, but you're just newborn in spirit. So if you died at the age 40, your physical life was 40 years, and then your spiritual life begins at your death. So a person who died 3 years ago, they will be 3 years old in spirit. A person who died 10 years ago will be 10 years old in spirit, and so on. So everybody who dies has a spirit date that they So you may meet an angel 2,000 years ago. And the nigga said, yo, I died 2,000 years ago, so I'm 2,000 years in. I'm a 2,000-year-old spirit. So that's how that works. Yup, 3 births. That's right. You've been studying. Exactly. But for the 3rd, he must work for his own deliverance. Yeah. The Creator, just like school. When you graduate, you got to graduate. You got to make that happen. You got to get that grade up. You can't rely on your friend Joe, man. You know, another friend, your neighbor friend. Nah. You got to study, get them grades up, submit your grade, submit your test. Boom, you pass. You did that. You know what I mean? You don't want nobody reaping your reward. You did that. Get that. That's how that works. Yup, being birthed in the Etherian worlds during the harvest times every 400 years. That's being birthed into the Etherian realms. The womb, the earth is a womb. You know what I mean? The earth acts as a womb for the souls of man and woman. And at the harvest time every 400 years, those who are brides and bridegrooms who have went through all the lessons and educations of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd resurrection at the harvest time is when they graduate and are taken into the Etherian realm. That's another birth. You see that? Because when you become an Etherian angel, now that's another start. So you have angels that may be like, yo, I've been the Etherian angel for 3 years. Oh, I've been the Etherian angel for 10 years. Oh, my teacher, he's been the Etherian angel for 10,000 years. Meaning that these were the amount of years when you graduated from school. No different than school. Yo, I've been in college for 3 years. Oh, word, I've been in college for 8 years. Oh, my professor, he's been a teacher in this college for over 20 years. See how that works? As above, so below. That's the beauty about the OAHSPE. It gives you consistently the correlation. Yup, that's right. It gets deep, yo. The only time you go outside this reality is when you vibrating outside of visible light. Visible light is 400 to 700 nanometers. If you vibrating outside of that, that's the only time you can tap in. You know what I mean? A lot of people never had a spiritual experience. A lot of people don't believe in spirituality. A lot of people, vibrational frequency is too low to tap in, so they don't believe it. Exactly, Cal P. The earth is a womb. That's exactly what the earth is, a womb. Don't y'all call it Mother Earth, right? Exactly, right? Mother Earth, Father Heaven, right? You know what? Let's do this. Let's vibe for a minute, you know what I mean? Because it's a vibe. We've been touching on some touchy topics. You know what I mean? We got to keep it realistic with each other every now and then. But now let's vibe, because it's a positive vibration. It's a vibe. It's a vibes. vibes. Yeah, man. Yes, quick intermission, you know what I mean? Vibe out for a second, take a break, get your drink, get your smoke. You know how we do. You know how we do. So check it, right? At the beginning of every arc cycle, a new archangel takes charge of the next arc cycle for the next 3,000 years. So, for example, right? Bam! Where we at with it? Let me pull out the 25th arc cycle. Wait a second. Boom, right there. This is where we at right now, the 25th arc cycle after the creation of man. Now, in the OAHSPE, it gives you the archangel that is in charge for the Ark of Cosmon for the next 3,000 years. And it states right here who it is. In the book of East, daughter of Jehovah, chapter 19, starting from verse, let me see what verse I want to start at. You know what? Let me start from verse 1. And then I'm going to read down to the archangel or Etherian angel that's in charge of this arc cycle that we're in right now. Verse 1. Now, he said, now while the holy council were still sitting in paradise, which is God's heavenly kingdom, true God's heavenly kingdom, just to be clear, a light like a star came and stood above the throne of God. And the voice came out of the light, saying, behold, the false gods are cast out and sent unto their places. Talking about the false god Luamung, Gabriel, the foreheads of the beast. They're sent to their places of labor, meaning that judgment was rendered upon them. Now they're sent back to do redemptive works from what they did. So verse 2 states, behold, the false gods are cast out and went unto their places. Verse 3, nevermore shall there be any other false god or Lord or Savior to lead my people away. See that? Verse 4, I am sufficient unto my own creation. Verse 5, let this therefore be the beginning of the Cosmon era. Now look at the map. Look at the 25th arc cycle, the Ark of Cosmon. And what did the verse say right here? Let this be therefore the beginning of the Cosmon era. So it's telling you what time period we in that this revelation is being spoken about. This ain't motherfuckers talking 3,000 years ago. They talking about now. This is something that's these angels are discussing recently. So now, verse 6. Let me go back to verse 5 again. Let this therefore be the beginning of the Cosmon era. Verse 6. My people have settled the whole earth around from east to west, and the lands of the western borders of America, which is Guatemala, have become inhabited. Verse 7. So they're talking about how America has become inhabited. So they're talking about now, not 2,000 years ago. They're talking about modern time. Verse 7. Go then, my God, my son, open the gates of heaven unto mortals. Verse 8. Let my angels meet them and talk with them face to face. Now, here's the catcher. Verse 9 is the catcher. This verse is going to reveal the Etherian God ruling the Ark of Cosmon. Verse 9. Behold, my Etherian ambassadress. See, now how the hell you pronounce this? Chiva entatitas. But it's a female. Just putting it blunt. My Etherian ambassadors come in a sea of fire. Verse 10. The ship of the Etherian goddess was seen descending from the higher heavens, coming as an open ring to embrace the whole earth. Now, this verse is basically saying, it's hard to pronounce that name because that's a crazy long name, but it's basically saying that a female goddess is the one who's in charge of the Ark of Cosmos. So look at the respect the OAHSPE gives to the woman. It's a woman in charge of this 3,000-year period. You see? So it says, the ship of the Etherian goddesses was seen descending from the higher heavens, coming as an open ring to embrace the whole earth. Verse 11. Again, the voice spoke out of the light, saying, here's another catcher. Verse 12. I know no distinction of men, of races, or sex, or doctrine, or past revelations. All people are my people. This is what the female goddess is saying. I know no distinction of men, of races. So racism and all that is cast out the window for this arc cycle. We're going to work on that. Nor sex, no groups, no cults. That's cast out. Or doctrine, no personal doctrine. Or past revelations, the seven-headed dragon. All people are my people. Verse 13. Open the gates of heaven. Let my angels speak to mortals. Swifter and swifter came the Etherian archangels till the heavens of paradise were encircled in love of the Almighty. See that? So a female goddess came to bless this the 25th arc cycle. It's a female goddess. It says, then God called out the legions who he had the matter of. See, now God, who was God? The atmospherian God, the 400-year ruler God. You know what I mean? But the Etherian is above the atmospherian God. So this female is above the rank of God. She running the show. God just doing what he do while he in office. So then God called out the legions who he had the matter in charge, where mortals had been born for the work of Jehovah's kingdom. And God said, open the gates of heaven. Let the angels of Jehovah speak with mortals. The time of the Father's kingdom is at hand. Open the gates of heaven. Let the angels come forth in power. In Haynesville, in Guatemala, on the earth, the angels opened the doors in heaven in Jehovah's name to be not closed again forever and forever. So that's just showing you where the Etherian angel came, blessed the 25th arc cycle. I see everything that happened in the past is the past. We starting off anew here. That's what she basically saying. So all the whole revelations in the Bible and all that stuff, out the window. Things are going to be anew. Now, check this out. OAHSPE touch on slavery. I'm talking about American slavery, briefly, right? Chapter 20, it says, Jehovah overthrows slavery in America, Guatemala. Interesting, right? East said, in the olden times and in the eastern countries, Jehovah began his revelation. With Moses and Abraham, the revelation started in the east. He says, the western continents he left for the finishing thereof. See that? Y'all running back to Jerusalem thinking, no, this shit was coming towards the west. The east just started it. It's going to finish in the west. The echoes of the Father's kingdom was spoken in the east, but the establishment going to be in the west. That's a harsh reality a lot going to have to deal with. Now, verse 2. Now when God looked abroad over America, he saw 4 million people in bondage as slaves. He talking about us. God in the OAHSPE is talking about us being enslaved. And he saw that they must be liberated. So God like, damn, these motherfuckers got these niggas enslaved. We got to liberate. We got to free these people. Right? And check this. And so God inquired of the chief mathematicians in the Holy Council, one, Iraq, saying, who of all the kings of the earth had the greatest number of slaves? So in order to fix this problems of 4 million slaves that true God is seeing, He asked one of his messengers, his angels, who had the greatest number of slaves on earth? Check this. Verse 3. And Iraq said, Xerxes, who dwell in Yopaga in Atmospheria. The nigga said Xerxes, bro. Xerxes, the same Persian Xerxes in the movie 300, like Leonidas and Xerxes, that Xerxes. But they talking about his spirit, where his spirit is in Atmospheria, because Xerxes had one of the greatest armies, enslavers. So look at the what you reap is what you sow aspect of this verse here. Now, it says, verse 4, God said, send thou a heavenly ship for him, for 1,000 million of his angels, and send also for Argosian, Leonidas, and for 1,000 million of his angels. And when they are brought here, they shall descend to the earth, to these barbarians, and liberate their slaves. The OAHSPE calls the slave masters barbarians. See that? See that? OAHSPE ain't sugarcoating shit either. It's good, bad, and ugly in the book. So it talks about blacks, it talks about white, it talks about everybody in the damn book. Ain't no favoritism, because these are corporeal beings, and in order to rise, we got to rise above these tribal atrocities. But in the book, OAHSPE says it right here. And when they are brought here, they shall descend to the earth to these barbarians and liberate their slaves. See that? True God trying to free us, while slave masters trying to hold us down. Who was slave master? Who was he under? What Bible was he toting? The Christian Bible? The King James? Who was King James Bible inspired by? Goddamn Luamung. So slave master was under the inspiration of Luamung, while True God over here trying to send angels to free the slaves. That's what's going on here. That's why this thing is deep. I ain't gonna go too far now. I just want to touch on that for a second to show first that it was a female goddess who brought in the 25th arc cycle, and to show that the OAHSPE called the slave masters barbarians in the book. And True God had a plan to free the slaves. So like I said, we were slaves, and True God had a plan to free us, while the slave master was against True God's plan, and they was under the inspiration of Luamung, the false god, which they are under the inspiration of today. Not all of them, but if you're a Christian, you under them. All Christians, all Hebrew Israelites, all Jews, depending on some Muslims, because some Muslims do believe in the Bible, some Muslims don't. Y'all all under the inspiration of the false god Luamung. A harsh reality that many don't want to face. The movie 300, yeah, Leonidas and Xerxes is in a damn OAHSPE. They was responsible for freeing the slaves based off what they did on earth. What you reap is what you sow. You reap things on earth, you're going to sow them in heaven. And that's what they had to sow. That shit is deep. Some may call that, oh, that's fairy tale, that's myth, but still, just the way they glued it and showed the plan of redemption through that. That was interesting. This shit deep, yo. The barbarians do not understand anything other than death. Now check this. Again, it says, and when they are brought here, they shall descend to the earth to these barbarians and liberate their slaves. Verse 5. Iraq, the angel saluted and departed, giving his instructions to the heavenly marshals, who at once sent ships and messengers as directed. So imagine this, while we enslaved, all this shit going on in the heavens to liberate us, unseen immortals. That's crazy, right? Verse 6. God then said, I will now recall the guardian angels who hold guard over mortals, and for a season they shall dwell in drudgery and darkness. And when this was accomplished, straightway a war ensued between the owners of the slaves and the neighboring states. What's that? The civil rights? The North versus the South? That war? That's what they talking about here. So verse 8. Then came the gods and angels, high in grade, to witness the play of mortal death and to determine how best to win liberty to Jehovah, the inhabitants of the great land. So they coming over here looking at these niggas like, damn, these motherfuckers going to war, North versus South. The Confederacy, whatever the case may be, the Civil War. So the angels like, all right, let's see how this shit play out, but we got to find a plan on how best to liberate the people in the way of Jehovah. So look at the damn dogma these angels got to go through, the labor that they got to go through dealing with corporeals on a beast level, subjected to war, right? So check it. Where we at with it? Verse 9. God said, it is an easy matter to win a war, but to make mortals see the triumphant of righteousness is not so easy. Therefore, be discreet in appropriating testimony unto Jehovah. Verse 10. And there rose up 2,000,000 men in armies, pushing on in war on every side, coursing the rich soil in mortal blood. Right here in the Americas, they talking. Civil War. And yet neither side had defend its principles or take stand for righteousness' sake, but went on in fearful destruction, laying in death tens of thousands. So these niggas just warring with no purpose. A rebel without a cause is what the Civil War was fought about. They done forgot what the hell they fighting for. They just fighting now. They just spilling blood. Hundreds of thousands of them, right? And I heard on some of them battlefields, what is it, Gethsemane, or one of them battlefields in North Carolina, they'll tell you that the spirits are still lingering out there. So check it. Where we at with it? Verse 11. Jehovah said, send thou thy Persian and thy Argosian angels, or Argosian angels, down to these mortals, and by inspiration, and by dreams, and by visions. You remember dreams? Remember I told y'all that these angels got to do with dreams, how they could create your subjective reality, how they could create and give you vision. So don't think dreams is wishful thinking. It's deeper levels to this thing. Now check it. Jehovah said, send thou the Persian and Argosian angels down to these mortals, and by inspiration, by dreams, and by visions, thy angel shall say to them, whosoever profess the earth shall battle in vain, but whoso profess righteousness in the name shall win. And millions of angels descended and tried to persuade them. So they coming up with whatever plan they can to make this shit make sense in the conditions of what's going on. You see that? So this is how deep it is. This is the wisdom that has to be used. All right, we're going to put some dreams in these niggas' head to fight in righteousness' sake so they can figure out a stand to stop fighting. So all these strategics are being done to get mortals to stop killing and destroying themselves, right? So check it. Where we at with it? Verse 12. But mortals would not hear, even though the chief general on liberty's side closed his soul against Jehovah. A. Himself enforced slavery with his mighty hand. So they ain't trying to hear what the angels saying. Like, we ain't trying to see these visions, whatever. We going to kill. So they closed their ear to the ways of Jehovah. So it was just pure bloodshed going on in the Civil War. Verse 13. And years went on, and all the people began to perceive that without righteousness there would be no end to war. So after a couple of years of war, they're like, yo, this shit ain't really getting nowhere. Like, this shit ain't making no sense. I don't know what even the hell we fight. We've been fighting for what, 5 years or whatever the case may be. So now it says, Jehovah said, only death can reach these people. These niggas are so stubborn that only death can reach them. That's what Jehovah is saying. So Jehovah said, only death can reach these people, or make them behold my hand. Yet thou shalt send thy angel hosts over all the north regions and inspire them to call out for liberty. So now Jehovah said, all right, I want y'all niggas to go to the north, give them inspiration of liberty. Verse 15, then went forth Xerxes and Leonidas with their 2,000 million angels to overspread the north, to inspire mortals to a more heavily stand, and to make them see justice and liberty. These are the inspiration that Xerxes and Leonidas, the same niggas in the movie 300, but in spirit, are sent back to do redemptive deeds to help free the slaves. And these are the strategic methods that they got to use to do it. Not no overnight shit, not no old twinkle of an eye. It's real hard work, real strategy that they got to apply. Now, verse 16, and for 100 days these angels dwelt with mortals, but many mortals were too gross in the earth to comprehend. See that? The angels is there, but you too engrossed in your diet, your chicken, your steak, your beef. Real heavy foods that slow down the vibrational frequency. You too engrossed, so the angel you couldn't comprehend when the angels came to you. Then Xerxes came to New York and took hence the guardian angels, those of holiness, and he left the city in the hands of drudges. That's why New York is a wild city, because it's in the hands of drudges. And at once the city was plagued in hell, riots, anarchy. And the people were as a mad people, wild and fearful. And that's exactly the mind state of the New Yorkers. Wild, dangerous, fearful. You know what I mean? So OAHSPE is giving you how when the holy angels left, the drudges rushed in, inspiring the mortals. So this shit is deep. Now verse 17, and Jehovah spoke in the holy council of heaven, saying, let my angels go once more and inspire mortals to rise to the light of my will. Verse 18, again the angels overran the land, inspiring mortals day and night to demand freedom for the slaves. And the ambassadors of Jehovah said, the ambassadors of Jehovah said to her, the ambassadress, the female goddess, the Etherian goddess of Jehovah, said to her, inspiring hosts of angels, number yet the mortals, north and south, as to their majority vote for freedom. Now when the gods numbered the mortals and graded them, they discovered the majority had turned to freedom's side. Verse 20, Jehovah said to his ambassadors, his female goddess, take thy own inspiring host and go down to the earth, to Washington, to the president, and hold this matter up to him, that he may understand me, for he is not bound in doctrine, for which reason my angels made him president. What? He says my angels made him president. So that's a deep factor. So now we see that angels got to do with election and the presidency. Now you talk about the Illuminati, the elites, the government work for somebody. Look how the OAHSPE is showing you the connection. I already told you that the higher echelons of the Illuminati is spiritual connection. OAHSPE is showing it to you. Whether if you're dealing with the true, whether if you're dealing with righteous angels or unrighteous angels in the higher echelon, it's still the same spirit communion. Now, for which reason my angels made him president, and for this purpose which I had in mind. Verse 21, and it came to pass that the president will hear thee, and he shall resolve in his own mind unto freedom for the slaves. But he will seek for some external sign, fearing he may have mistaken the angels that minister unto him. But I will provide a way for this and also. So here is showing you that these angels were involved heavily during these days of early America with the establishment of the freedom of the slaves and the emancipation and all that stuff, right? It's a lot of conflict and information dealing with that. But the OAHSPE is just touching on how the angels had a lot to do with the freeing of slaves. That's the interesting part about this. And look what it say here, verse 22. And the angels of Jehovah went to the president in a vision, like a dream, and they called unto him. And he answered and said, Who art thou? So just imagine you dreaming, you sleep, and you having this dream, and somebody call your name in a dream, and you're like, who are you? See what I'm saying? You thinking dreaming is just a fragment of your imagination, a fragment of your imagination. Or you think it's wishful thinking, but here the angels is using your dreams to navigate, to communicate with you. That's what I said. When you sleep at night, that's the closest connection to the spirit world and to the spirits. Anytime if you want to communicate with the angels, it's going to be during these hours, the sleep. Now check it. And the angel said, Such as come in Jehovah's name for freedom's sake. Behold, millions of his angels look down from heaven and will come to thy armies if thou would but proclaim freedom to the slaves, nigga. Nigga. What? You trying to tell me that angels is coming in defense to help free the slaves? Not only we fighting for slavery, you got angels coming down from heaven in defense for slaves. But it's not how you think they could just come powerfully. No, we got to navigate and do it. Because the lesson is for us to learn. We got to be genuine enough to see and navigate free, as far as him freeing the slaves or whatever. If the angel just came and freed the slave, the European would still have that same that same hate in his heart because he didn't go through no changes. He didn't go through no internal differences so he could love his brother in whom he hates today, right? So that's why the angels just don't come and interfere, boom, bam, bam. Nah. They go through, have visions, and let you navigate, and you figure it out. So you could get the understanding and the glory for this. So again it says, and the angel said, Such as come in Jehovah's name for freedom's sake. Behold, millions of his angels look down from heaven and would come to thy army if thou would proclaim freedom to the slaves. Jehovah's hand is in this matter. Look at that. Ain't we Jehovah's people? Don't the Israelites say we the chosen people of God according to their doctrine? And they claim that Yahweh is their God. But here, OAHSPE, Yahweh is the creator, not a God. And he's concerned with his people being freed in the Americas. See the connection? But this is the creator, not a deity we're dealing with, right? So it says, verse 24, the president awoke and was troubled with his dream. So when he woke up, he like, yo, wifey, yo, son, I just had a crazy dream, bruh. When I was sleeping, a voice came to me and said my name. And I'm like, yo, who you? And he told me that if I fight for the side of freedom or freeing the slaves, that the angels of God is going to help us. Now niggas looking at him like he crazy. Oh, this nigga talking crazy. He said God about to come help the nigga. This nigga talking out of his mind. Not knowing this is actual fact. So, verse 25, check this. The next night, the angels came again. So the next night he went to sleep, the angels came back to him and retold their words and added thereunto, the great majority of the country is ripe for this matter. Thou fearest this, but a foolish dream. No, it says, thou fearest this to be a foolish dream. Behold, we will give thee proof tomorrow. Wow. Now just imagine that. You had the dream again. The same angels came to you again, retold you the same thing, but this time they said, all right, tomorrow we're going to give you a sign. So now you wake up remembering what they said in the dream that, damn, he said tomorrow I'm going to give me a sign and today is tomorrow. So it's like, all right, now I'm spooked out. What the hell really about to go down? So what goes on next? What happens next? Verse 26, the president awoke more trouble than before. So now he woke up worse than the first time. Like, man, I can't believe what the hell is going on. They said they're going to give me a sign. So check it. But he remembered the angel said, we will give thee proof tomorrow. So just imagine you had a dream out the blue or whatever, and the one thing you remembered out that dream is that they said in the dream that they're going to give you proof tomorrow. So I'm showing you how the angels are navigating through the dreams to get to mortals. Verse 27, Jehovah said, I will make this matter a testimony to this nation, and so that no man may gainsay it. And I will show also how my angels work singly and in mighty legions. Verse 28. Now at this time there was living in Washington a seer, a seeress, a female seer, to whom spirits spoke in her entrancement, a medium. And on the day mentioned, the angel spoke through her, saying, go and fetch the president into the presence of this woman. See that? So now the angels is going over here, putting inspiration to this person to say, oh, go fetch the president, bring him here, so we can tell him what we got to tell him. So look what it say. Verse 29. And the president was told what was said. And when the president came before the seers, the female seer, the angel of Jehovah entranced her and said unto her, we said we would give thee proof tomorrow. Behold, we repeated unto thee, Jehovah is in this matter. Except thou proclaims the freedom of the slaves, thou shalt not succeed. Do thou this, and thy enemy's army shall melt away like snow in the sun. That's the message that the angels had to tell the president. President Lincoln, actually. Verse 30. The president's eyes were opened, and he went straightway and proclaimed freedom to the whole 4 million slaves. Verse 31. Xerxes and Leonidas, thou great conqueror, thou shalt conquer me. Take thy 1,000,000,000 angels and go with thee, armies of the north, and aspire them on to victory. Give thou me such strength and courage as they have not before manifested. And as for me, myself, and my host, we will go to the armies of the south, and we will inspire them to believe they are conquered, and so make them flee before thy soldiers. See the strategies they using just to break up slavery? All right, you're going to go to the north, inspire them that they going to win. I'm going to go to the north and inspire them that they've been defeated. And through that inspiration, they're going to not have the ability to fight because their inspiration going to be low. But the angels is using that as a tactic to help free the slaves based off the rudimentary shit mortals got going on. So this is the wisdom and the tactics they got to use on a minute level, on a rudimentary level, on a carnal beast level, dealing with men and its ignorant and tribalistic ways. So that's the dope shit about the OAHSPE. It ain't no overnight, angels come, blah, 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 everything is hokey dokey. No, it's real strategies that these angels got to use to help liberate the mortals. And in this situation, the slaves. So that's just a quick little vibes on that, you know what I mean? Dealing with slavery, since we touching on real matters today. You know what I mean? So here, showing you that slavery, true God, Jehovah and them, all involved in this shit. We didn't know that. Although we getting lynched and tortured, we don't know that the angels was fighting for our side. So all them angels who got lynched and killed, their spirits could have been delivered to true God's heavenly kingdom on the plan for redemption. While some of them could have been in the hands of drudges and lingering around for their slave masters to die to get vengeance. It gets deep. So it's both parties going on. Linda, I see you. Shalom. Yeah, I see y'all getting busy. But yeah, so that's the realistic matters of today's lesson. You know what I mean? Focus on the message and the truth of the matter. in the bigger picture. That's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? The faithist, the Cosmon era is dealing with balance. Balance of spirituality and balance of physicality, and Cosmon lies in the middle. So you got to be wise. You can't be too over spiritual. You can't be too over materialistic. Meet that boundary. Meet that center mark. And you'll be all right. You dig? You know what I mean? And with that, I'm going to push on out because it's a vibe. And we're going to vibe on out for a few before we head up out. I'm going to check the chat with y'all in the chat for a few. But it's a vibe. Shalom. It's a vibes. It's a vibes.